Welcome back to Coffee with Mia. I'm Mia Pompey. Grab your coffee or your favorite beverage because I have a question for you today. And I don't want you to answer this question too quickly, but tell me, how do people feel after they talk to you? Think about that for a second, because we spend a lot of time thinking about how other people make us feel. We say things to ourselves like, did they listen to me? Did they understand me? Were they rude? Were they dismissive? Did they make me feel appreciated? Did they make me feel like I mattered? But today, I want to turn that question around. What does somebody walk away feeling after they spend time with you? Do they feel better? Do they feel encouraged? Do they feel heard? Do they feel judged? Do they feel exhausted? Do you think they leave saying to themselves, wow, what a really nice conversation? Or do they leave thinking, I suddenly need a nap? And listen, we've all met that person. You could be having the best day of your life, and 5 minutes after talking to them, you're questioning every decision you've made since 1987. Okay, but here's the truth. Sometimes we need to look at ourselves too, because every conversation leaves something behind. Every single one. Sometimes it's laughter. Sometimes it's reassurance. Sometimes it's comfort. Sometimes it's a new way of looking at something. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's tension, gossip, judgment, or negativity that, honestly, never needed to be passed along in the first place. And that brings me something I think we all forget to do sometimes. Not everything we hear needs to be repeated. Just because someone tells you something, it doesn't automatically make it your information to carry around the neighborhood, and definitely not your information to turn it into tonight's breaking news. We've become so used to sharing everything. Someone tells us something, and before they finish, we're already thinking, oh, wait until I tell so-and-so. But why? Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? And here's the biggest one. Is it even yours to tell? Sometimes the kindest thing you can do with information is to let it stop with you. No forwarding, no retelling, and no adding your little interpretation. When someone comes up to you and says, well, I heard, or you're never going to believe what I heard, you know what happens after that, right? Nothing good happens after that. And you know what? It's only being a little bit more intentional about what you bring into other people's lives. Because words carry energy. You can change someone's entire mood with a conversation. Think about how powerful that is. Someone can call you and they could be so discouraged, but maybe after the conversation with them, you made them feel like they can handle what's coming their way. And it's not always because you solved their problem. It's because you listened. And that, I think, is another thing we should talk about. Listening. Real listening. Not waiting for the other person to stop talking so we can jump in with a response. Not listening while we're mentally preparing our rebuttal. Not listening while we're just scrolling through our phone going, yeah, wow, that's crazy. While actually having no idea what they just said. I'm talking about actually listening. And it sounds so simple, but I think listening has become a little bit of a lost art. Everybody wants to be heard, but few people want to listen. And sometimes when somebody is talking, they don't need your advice. They don't need your opinion. They definitely don't need your 5-step plan for reorganizing their entire life. Sometimes they just need you to hear them. That's it. And I know what some of you are thinking, but Mia, what if I completely disagree with them? Okay, you disagree. Listening doesn't mean agreeing. Kindness doesn't mean agreement. Respect doesn't mean surrendering your opinion. You know, you can hear somebody out and still think they're completely wrong. You just don't need to turn every disagreement into a courtroom drama. And after Friday's episode about needing to have an opinion about everything, maybe this is the next piece to that conversation. Because sometimes you can just say, I hear you. That's it. You don't have to fix it. And you don't have to make them see the world the way you do. And there's something else. People remember how you make them feel when they're being vulnerable with you. They remember whether you made them feel they can trust you. They remember the way you listened. They remember if you dismissed what they were saying. They remember whether you immediately turned the conversation back to yourself. And we've all done that. Someone can say, I've been having such a hard week. And you can answer, you think you had a hard week. Well, let me tell you about my week. And suddenly, their story has disappeared. We've just monopolized the whole conversation. And sometimes we don't even know we're doing that. So maybe the question isn't only, how do people feel after they talk to me? Maybe the other question is, do I make room for other people in my conversations? Do I let them finish? Do I ask questions? Do I care about their answer? Do I remember what they told me? Because being a good conversationalist isn't just being interesting. It's being interested. There's a difference. And I think the best people to talk to isn't always someone that's the funniest or the smartest. They're the people that make you feel like for those 10 minutes, what you're saying actually matters. Now those are the conversations we remember. And I'm going to say something else because I don't want this episode to sound like, go be nice to everyone. No, absolutely not. You can have boundaries. You can decide if someone isn't good to talk to. You can decide to end a conversation. And you can stop giving access to people who constantly drain you. You can protect your peace. This isn't about becoming everyone's emotional support system. It's about the energy you choose to bring when you decide to engage with someone. You can have boundaries and still be kind. You can disagree while still being respectful. You can tell the truth without trying to hurt them. And you can walk away from something without burning the entire building down behind you. Although some people do make that very tempting. But think about this. At the end of the day, we probably have dozens of tiny interactions. Our spouse, our family, friends, coworkers, that person at the store, someone on the phone, maybe someone online. Most of the time, conversations won't really feel important, but you don't know what kind of day the other person is having. You don't know what they're carrying. And sometimes a small amount of patience or warmth is worth more than we'll ever know. Again, I'm not talking about walking through life, tossing inspirational quotes to strangers. Please don't do that. I'm talking about being aware, being present, and remembering that when you walk away from a conversation, you leave something behind. So maybe today, pay attention, not obsessively, not like you're grading yourself all day, but just notice, did I listen? Did I interrupt? Did I make everything about me? Did I repeat something that wasn't meant to be repeated? Did I help? Or did I hurt? Did I make someone feel a little better? And here's another question. How do you want people to feel after they talk to you? That's the part we actually get to choose. Maybe you want people to feel calmer. Maybe you want them to feel understood. Maybe you want them to laugh. Maybe you want them to feel like they can be completely themselves around you. Maybe you simply want them to leave thinking, that was nice. I really needed that. There's something beautiful about that because you don't have to change someone's life every time you talk to them. You don't have to say anything profound. You don't have to solve all their problems. Sometimes the best feeling you can leave somebody with is that feeling for the past few minutes you made them feel like they mattered. So that's what I want you to think about today. Not just how do people treat me, but how do people feel after they've been with me? Because every conversation leaves something behind. So let's make sure what we leave behind is worth carrying. As always, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode of Coffee with Mia.